All right, so we're a couple seconds in. You're a couple minutes in, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Just start talking about what this is. So if you're hey everybody, if you're not familiar, this is for Texas Creative. So friends, family, recruiters, directors, if you're out there, Texas Creative is this portfolio sequence within the advertising program at UT. And so I've been with this for the past year and a half, and this is just some of the work and the stuff I've learned throughout the program. I'm a junior graduating in December, photographer, graphic designer, art director, creative strategist. And yeah, I'm just gonna walk you through my work, some of the insights behind it, and just how everything goes. If you want to follow along, check out the description below. I've got my website link there. And if you like anything that you see, feel free to sign up via my Calendly for a one-on-one. So yeah, let's get this thing started. So right here we've got my website going. So actually going to take you to the home page here. And so this will be the first thing that you see when you get here. And it kind of introduces me and what I do based in Austin, Texas. And let's go through some of my ad work. Hey, everybody watching in. Great to see y'all here. First campaign, I'm going to take you through Paper Magazine. Okay. Paper, if you're not familiar with it, is like this kind of publication that they really don't care what's going on, how things are working in the world. They just say the truth, and they cover pop culture and entertainment and just about everything, really. I worked on this with Michaela, and all of my partners are featured in my YouTube channel if you want to check out their streams. But I'm going to go ahead and read the write-up that we have for this. Since our founding, Paper has lived on the edge of culture. We are the tastemakers, curators, and stands of internet culture, giving the wannabes and RDRs a Mecca and second or first God. We know what's Vogue before Vogue, what 30-year-old moms will put on t-shirts in 6 months, and what shade of red Zendaya will wear for Spider-Man 8. But the edge of culture isn't enough, not for this issue at least. Paper Extreme is going on the edge of the edge, edgier, if you will, taking the mainstream and moving it aside, creating culture by creating opportunities, and leaning a little bit too far over the edge to find some new faces staring back. So we have the anthem here. I'm not going to play it. There's copyrighted music, and I don't want to mess with that, but definitely check it out. Again, my website's below if you want to look at any of this stuff. And I've also got the script here. But what I'm going to start walking you through is this program that we created called Culture. Michaela and I had a blast working on this. And the idea is that paper really gives opportunities to people that can't otherwise see it. So I'm going to read the write-up that we have, and then we'll get more into the program itself. Cultured. Paper will respond to the mainstream by creating events for talent in the underworld of arts and entertainment. We will highlight the importance of jumping off the edge and taking a chance on undiscovered talent. Influencers will take over our Instagram story for the day and cover our events. After, Paper will release polished vlog-style videos on both IGTV and YouTube, revealing the unknown to the masses. Cultured, just as big, not as known. And so this is kind of a timeline that we're working on, right? And so what we started with this is we had a bunch of ideas. Obviously, it's how everything kind of starts. And there's this TikTok, oddly enough, that we came across called Make You a Sensation. And basically, this guy lived to create, found this artist that he loves. He's fantastic. He deserves to be big, but nobody knows who he is. And so the series is about, kind of finding these people and following them, hopefully to this kind of like famous path for them, right? And so Paper is non-existent on TikTok, and they should be, right? So we're going to partner with them and kind of move the series over to us. He'll still be the host, and then Chase Paves will be the current season. And then, getting in the timeline of everything. These are pretty similar, so I'm gonna break down this first one, and then we'll cruise through the rest. But the idea is that we'll have these like takeovers, I guess. So we'll have on the right here, you can see guerrilla advertising posted in New York City. And it reads, fashion has an underworld that's waiting to be discovered. And this is done with hopes of attracting people to the event that Paper will create when the time is right. And then on the left, you have an Instagram ad, and it reads, have you ever torn apart your mom's wardrobe and put it back together with some pizzazz? Take some shots of your masterpieces and send them our way to show mom how far pizzazz can take you. And so the idea with this is it'll attract people to actually come to our event, right? And when time comes for New York Fashion Week, that's what we're going to cover. we'll kind of hint at this idea of like lack of diversity and lack of breaking through. Of course, we want to show praise to it because it's this incredible week, but we're also going to hint that, it's not everything is there, right? So one of the tweets reads, a little more diversity would be nice. Anyone else agree? And then that'll release to our actual fashion show. So hosted by a micro influencer out of Italy. And then we'll have these kind of local artists in this small, neat venue. So, and thanks for all the nice comments, guys, seeing those roll through. Next, same idea, right? Armory show. This is a super high class art show based out of New York. And so Gorilla ad reads, hang their art on your walls 6 months before everyone else does. And the Instagram ad will read, on the hunt for starving artists who are ready to rub elbows with others just as hungry as them. And then we'll kind of release into art exhibition extreme. So let me take a step back here. The issue that we focused on with paper is their summer issue, which is extreme. So they release 4 print publications annually, and their summer issue hones in on the idea of being extreme. And like our write-up was focusing on, it's, kind of leaning over the edge to see some new faces. So again, that's what we're trying to do with this. And then last in this little timeline that we have going on is a good story doesn't depend on a good budget. If you've got a lamp, an iPhone, and a story to tell, slide into our mentions. We've been waiting for you our whole lives. And this will be done surrounding Cannes, right? And so again, showing that you don't need a good budget to make a good film. And so that will lead to our Sean on iPhone Indie Film Fest. And then once all of this is said and done, we'll have rolling out IGTV and a YouTube series, just giving like a polished, video series over what's happened over these past few months. And then that will all lead to our Battle of the Coast and Paper Extreme release. So we've got to release the issue, and this is where we do it. And so what we were thinking is we take LA and New York, those were our 2 cities that we focused on for this campaign, and basically have them battle it out. So we'll have these campus curators, and they'll create these set lists based on local talent that they find, and they'll go head to head and all compete in this big kind of release paper pop-up. And then the winner will result in the following seasons making a sensation artist. So it all circles back with Uncultured. And right here on the left, you can see Chase Paves. This is a mock-up of the cover of Paper Magazine, which he would be for this current season. So that's Paper. Did this one with Michaela, had a blast doing it. I had never seen or knew who Paper was before I got to this campaign. You'll be familiar with them as they did the Kim K cover back in 2014. So they do have some sort of societal clout. Next is LinkedIn Premium. So I worked on this last semester with Jeb, and we love this campaign. It was fun. It came together seamlessly. It was one of the first like fully integrated campaigns that I did. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I love the design of Paper, working through that. But so I'm going to read the write-up for LinkedIn. The competition in today's world of job hunting is no small task. It's harsh, it's difficult, and it's flat out scary. LinkedIn Premium helps connect the gap between recruiters and recruitees and does so much more. It's not just for anyone though. It's for those who go the extra mile, those who beat out their peers, and those who always prevail. It's for those who mean business. And so that leads to this campaign that we created for those who mean business, right? So here's your logo. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video for you, and then we'll get more into it in a second. And yeah, so Jeb and I had a blast making this one. And our approach with LinkedIn is you have LinkedIn, right? And we focused on LinkedIn Premium. So to be on LinkedIn and like it already means you're a business person, right? And then to get LinkedIn Premium, it's for somebody that we thought of is like the ultimate businessman. And our approach was like, what if they're almost maniacal, right? And so how would they act? And you have this character here just getting ready for a lifetime of firm handshakes because he's got LinkedIn Premium and knows how to go about it, right? Got a couple of scripts here. So you have this first video we played on the left and these other two. I'm not going to get into those, just gonna keep talking through, but I would love if you could check it out. My website again is in the link down below. And thank you so much for your compliments, guys. It's great to see y'all rolling in. Next, we have these cards, right? So we came up with these fun headlines, and they didn't really fit anywhere. But towards the end, we were like, it kind of does. So we turned it into these business cards, and the placement is high publications like The Economist, and they'll be in there. So no one's gotten a job off of retweets, and it's not nepotism, but it might as well be. And these are just like fun little quick gets about how powerful LinkedIn Premium can be. Thanks again, everybody. And then here's another video spot. So this one we called Interview for a Boyfriend. Again, not going to play it. It's a bit long, but please check it out. It's really funny. It looks like it's kind of setting the scene for this date night, and then you come in and find that she's actually grilling this guy. And then last for this campaign, we have a social media integration. And so this is just like Instagram ad and then showing what it would look like if your profile put on a coat and tie, right? And then down here is in addition to the LinkedIn Premium, if you have like a coat and tie on your profile itself. And this is cool. I included this. I'm a sucker for BTS. And so this kind of shows some of our original thinking. And this was from our first brainstorm session that we had. And there's some stuff in here like business casual to business professional, profile graphic. So it shows that, you know, even from the initial brainstorming session, we were able to bring these back in to fit this bigger idea of for those who mean business. And that's going to be it for LinkedIn. Let's go to spam. So spam, this one's fun. It's fun and it was tough and we almost didn't do it, but I'm so glad we did. I worked on this one with Kalana. I'm going to go ahead and read the write-up. You've spent your entire life ignoring and outwardly hating spam. Even the thought of popping open the tin makes you wince. It's gone so far as distancing yourself from anyone who eats spam and questioning anyone who's considered it. What ignited your spark of disgust that ultimately fueled your distrust? You haven't even tried it. Your hatred for spam was taught, never tasted, and to be quite honest, you're missing out. Do yourself a favor and try it. Grill it up, sizzle some on a skillet, bake it into a casserole. Get past the tin and make it right. And so the idea of this is make it right. And it has this duality to it. So you have the literal meaning of making it right. You don't have to eat it out of the can. That's kind of gross. You can cook it the right way. So make it right. And the second thing is there's this like unfairness and almost societal stigma against the product. I had that. I had never tried spam before I did this campaign, worked on this campaign, right? And I tried it and I was like, this is pretty good. So it's not fair. We have this obligation, if you will, to make it right to the brand and to society. It starts with a package redesign. Their package redesign was outdated, and normally we don't do this, but they needed it. And so we took it, just made it clean, made it fit for the shelf. And then on the back, we have for the first timers. So I'll get into that in a second. But with that, there is a recipe for a first time recipe. So if you've never had spam before, you need something safe and good. And one of the things that we toyed with is you have this cultural background of spam and this nostalgia of it. And we were like, yeah, that works, but it's kind of easy. So let's play into the idea of just trying it for the first time, breaking that barrier. And so moving forward, this is cool. This is something I love that we do in my portfolio class. We basically, on the final day of pitch, we create this mock-up of what would you want an ad, article, or any sort of publication to say about your campaign. Our goal is to go viral. And it's the worst thing for a client to say to you, but it's true. And so with this, we have our kind of introduction of, are you a spam virgin? And so again, I'll get into that in a second here, but here's a little cookbook that we worked on, and it just blows out this idea of first time recipes. Nothing intricate, nothing too cultural heavy, just something nice and easy and good. And then moving forward, this is a script. I'm not going to read it all for you, but I would encourage you to check it out on my site. Again, link down below. But this idea is, and it's kind of cheesy, but we wanted to take on the actor of like a Charlie Day, if you know who that is, where we just fight into the comedy and the wackiness that is spam so much that it's just fun, right? And so the idea here is that a guy comes to a dinner party and the host, the guy figures out the host made a dish with spam in it, and he's like, what? And the host is like, I bet you've never even tried it. And then we kind of take it from there. So it was fun script to kind of write. Unfortunately, we didn't get to shoot it just because of the circumstances of the semester, but. And then next, so back to spam virgin. it's such a simple get, right? I can say, are you a spam virgin? And you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And so we're wanting to play onto this with social. So through Twitter engagement and crowdsourcing, we're playing into this idea of hashtag spam virgin. So it reads, I bet you've never even tried spam. You're a spam virgin. Give it a try and post your reaction down below. And this is kind of the idea that people would share their first experiences. So I had that experience as I was working on this campaign, and it was a pleasant experience. And then moving forward, we've got turn off notifications there. Sorry about that. Moving forward, we've got TikTok placement. So found this guy, influencer, 1.1 million followers, Newt120, and he is so funny. I've saved a lot of his recipes, and it's just a great 60 seconds of content, right? And so we wrote this little 5-second script just to introduce it, give us that branding, and then from there he can just roll with it. He knows what he wants, and that's how he can. And that's what we want from him, right? He's the influencer for us. Again, some BTS of it. This is just a layout of some of the lockups we were thinking of. We landed on, we like this one up here in the top right, but it's cool to see her thinking and the color swatches with this. But Kalana and I were ADCW pair for this campaign, so it was super fun. Next is Leafly. So if you're not familiar, Leafly is an educational resource for weed, cannabis, CBD, hemp, etc. And we basically wanted to tie Leafly and make it this relevant thing for a lot more people, so expand their audience. And I'm going to read the write-up and then get more into the insights behind it. The rapidly growing popularity of cannabis in mainstream culture is a double-edged sword. As Mary Jane becomes widely accepted, so do the harmful stereotypes surrounding her. Leafly is here to dispel the stoner persona and create a generation of more informed smokers by educating people on cannabis and its culture. So to start, I myself do not partake, not my thing, that's okay. But there is this stigma around it, right? Everybody, there's this negative stereotype that stoners are lazy and these couch potatoes, good for nothing nobodies, right? And so we wanted to put a spin on it and show that you can have this high culture. That was a tag we ended up on with cannabis. And so here's a case study. Would love if y'all could watch that later on my site, again, link down below. Not gonna play it now, I'm actually gonna walk you through our work. So Leafly, high culture. The first part is they have an app. The app is great. Their branding is great. It's clean. It works. But we wanted to expand it to a social network and show that you can connect with your friends who do the same thing. One of our favorite parts of this campaign was a smoke with me button. So essentially it's just this button, you press it and it will notify smokers in the smoke circle that you created and say, hey, I'm smoking. You can share your location and allow them to join you. And then so we have that there, and then we also we did like a fun little puffer pass type thing to accept or reject the notification. But here's a GIF through it if you want to take some more time and see the individual screens that we created. And the next is a 420 black tie donor event. So this one is very literal to high culture. It shows that people with high class can and do smoke, to fit the stereotype. Seth Rogen, he's a smoker, but he's also this really nice, well-rounded, talented actor. And so people of that stature at this, and we'll include cannabis flights. If you're not familiar, a similar thing is a alcoholic flight where small doses gives you a chance to try it. But got that. You've got a munchies menu, so just a play on the words there. And then a cannabis cocktail bar. So a cocktail for the form of cannabis is basically mixing two strains to get the peak desired effects out of both of them. And then this one is one of our favorite executions. It's one of my favorites in my book. It's a card, a trading card. So it shows here, I'll go down to the GIF while I talk through this, but it shows what it helps with, what the feelings are and the negatives are per strain. And we picked the 50 most popular strains of cannabis. And then we have 2 cocktail recipe cards in there. So acting like trading cards, right? And these, to be frank, are a novelty. They're not so much playing into the big idea, but the design does. The design keeps us high culture. And we're not just pushing high culture, we're also pushing education of it, right? People think low about cannabis users, not because it came out of nowhere, but it's just because they don't know enough about the culture. And so there's that. And here we've got cocktail cards, so you can read more into that and almost, design like a drink menu. And then we've got, these are fun, a book here. So we named this Cannabis Connoisseurs. That was our original tag for the campaign. And this plays into the idea of, nice, clean imagery on the left, and then this kind of, energy smoker poem on the right. So another fun kind of just take home from the donor event. And then last, we've got a cocktail generator. So pretty straightforward. You just put in your desired effects. We have one through 5 desired effects, and it'll show you a strain that you would, that they recommend for you based on what you want. Here is some branding that we created. We wanted to make sure that they already have great clean branding, but we wanted to add in these nicer typefaces, get the serif font rocking, this nice diploma font over here. And then we also created this icon, right? Leafly uses their wordmark and it looks great, but they need an icon. So we thought something ownable like this would be really, really nice for them. And I worked on that with Diana, and it was awesome, awesome. And the last creative campaign I'm going to take you through is Crew. So I worked on this last semester with Joel. He's an incredible copywriter and strategist. And I love this campaign. It's not fully blown out and it's not fully done, but I love it. And it's here in my book and it's going to stay. So I'm going to read the write-up for you. New Orleans isn't just any city. It's a city built from hardship and destruction, turmoil, and what some see as defeat. But at its core, New Orleans stands strong. It's as tough as the people who frame it and as bold as the personalities within it. To me and you, New Orleans is crazy, but to them, they're all really the same. They're just those that see good. And so with this, we took the idea of seeing good. And so our through line for this campaign is Crew donates 10% of sales to New Orleans charities to see good in the city, yourself, and others. Again, has this duality to it that we love, something fun to play with as a copywriter and teams. Although I myself am an art director, right? But Crew New Orleans Eyewear creates glasses, and their current branding is not good. It's like J. Crew whitewashed, and it doesn't fit the style of the glasses themselves or the city. And it's really not something that it deserves. The city deserves more. So this is our take on it. I'm going to go ahead and read this print ad for you. It reads, "Some practice in the dark. Some play with their eyes closed. They say it helps concentrate or stop the butterflies. But here's a little secret. Take a quick peek, just a little glance, and the smile on everyone's face will be enough to put on a show. Crew, see good." And so again, getting into this idea of seeing good, and we have this little glasses icon as playing as an asterisk, right? So you've got this write-up, and then it's referring to the good in the photo. So we took this nice somber sepia, very simple, very clean spread, and there's just a hint of happiness within each one. Got this next one here. I'm going to read it through. "If no one looks at you, you don't exist, but so don't they. Because those who choose to ignore reality don't envision the change they can create. See me, not to acknowledge my existence, but to better fulfill yours." And the good in this photo is just this little homeless man in the corner. Have a blessed day. And it's the same idea, nothing much. It's somber city, rainy, humid, and we've got this little gleam of hope referred to with the see good. And then last for print, we've got this one taken during Katrina's super powerful image. I forget the photographer's name, but just incredible imagery. "Some say a community is a place surrounded by fences. Some call it a group of people united by race, religion, or creed. But break it down, put it through hell, and see what's left. Those who come back, rebuild, and look to help define community." And so the good in the picture is obviously there's this terrible, chaotic time that happened, but this little girl in the photo can still find the good. And sure, it's ignorance is bliss, and she doesn't really know what's happening, but whether it's the water is just a little too cold, or she gets to swim, or she gets to spend time with her family, there's still some good in this tragic situation. And here is a TV shot. Didn't quite get a chance to make it up, but I'm going to read through it for you because, again, I really love this one. "Video shot of a wall with images flashing as if on a Kodak carousel in tandem with voiceover. Copy is on screen. People think they know us. People think they know you. They look, peek, sometimes pretend like they didn't. Sometimes they stare and laugh just because of how you look. And although they look, they fail to see. They fail to believe in something other than their own because they cannot look beyond themselves and into a world around them. They think we're broken, dirty, good for nothing, been pushed down and can't get up. But that's why this isn't a place for them. This is a place for people who see differently, who take the good out of the bad and give it to those around them, who spread the gospel and keep tradition no matter what stands between it. People who keep their name and celebrate it. You could call us crazy, but we're really the same. We're just those that see good. And so this is a very simple TV spot. It just focuses on the words and the powerful imagery as it kind of cycles through that we want to mock up. If you're familiar with the Richards Group and their Ram, So God Made a Farmer, as something very similar to that art direction. This breaks down the look of the charity extension. So right now their glasses are named against like random districts and streets in New Orleans. We wanted to tie it to a specific city address. And so you can see some of the charities we picked up here in the top right. And it's tough to read, but that's okay. We can definitely check this out later on my site. Again, link down below. And then it shows that the glasses are being renamed in the bottom right to on the side of the frame to the charity, and then that a charity donation of 10% is included in your purchase. And then last, we've got these out-of-home installations. So these lenses have these etchings of what the city looks like before Katrina and then before gentrification, right? So just reminding the community where they came from and the power of it, and just, you know, see good. So it's a very literal see good. Hi, Joanne. Thank you so much for tuning into this. But yeah, so those are my creative campaigns. The other work I have here, you can check out later in depth. Just going over more of my creative work, but I've got this one, Pizza Hut. I worked on this. I'm also in Texas Media and Analytics, and had a great group that I worked on this with. We worked alongside GSD&M, who has the creative account for Pizza Hut, and we created a media plan. So here's some highlights of our book. Again, just briefing through this real quick. And then if you would like to see the full deck, how that turned out, we've got links in here. So yeah, that wraps up my advertising work. That's what I've been working on through the past year and a half. And it's not necessarily direct working on, but how I think, right? I've just learned how to think and how to create these big ideas in my work. And this is accumulation of it. And I love what it's turned out to. Art direction isn't only what I do though. I'm gonna take y'all through some of my side work. I'm a super passionate photographer. I work with Texas football and recruiting. I work with the team. I've been with them since 2017. So across 3 seasons, you know, I really, really have gotten a chance to know the team and everything. So yeah, so here's some of my work with Texas football. I've got these shots. These are some of my favorites I've taken over the years. I got this one with McConaughey celebrating a first down at the LSU game last year. Super fun game to shoot, great atmosphere, and of course, Minister of Culture himself. And this one, I love this shot. So something that you'll kind of see in my work is I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories, and I think there's something so powerful in still photography and what you can capture in it. And so when I shoot everything, yeah, we have the essential like gameplay action that you have to get. But when I shoot everything, I want to get the shot that nobody else can get. And this is it. Nobody else can get the shot because of where I was. And granted, it was because I was on the opposite side of Josh and McConaughey, but it ended up in this. So I love this little detail shot. Going through, this is one of my favorite shots I've ever taken. Again, it just is framed so well. So we've got post-game, if you're not familiar, the team and the coaches and the staff and the cheerleaders sing the Eyes of Texas to the student section. And they've got the flag kind of going, right? And so this shot, just the pure joy in the cheerleader's face and the framing of the burnt orange and the steer head behind it, just really cool. Yeah, here's some my other work. Love if you could take a look at this with a little bit more time. Here's a shot of Jeffrey McCulloch. I shot this on an 85, so I'm a bit far, but you can still feel how tight and how close I was with it. You can see the spit in his mouth, just hyping up his linebacker buddies pre-game, and you can feel the intensity there. It's awesome. I love that shot. My boss gave me he kind of handed over after the Moncrief complex started to get torn down for renovations. He let me handle the creative direction of the new recruiting shoot. So we went with this very simple orange backdrop. I've got 2 strobes going on, and I've shot all of these recruiting this recruiting stuff so far. And so I've got this one of just some of our new recruits that we've signed, but just, you know, love this work, love the frame of it. But some more stuff, got some detail shots in here. Sugar Bowl I shot really well, so we've got some, you know, gameplay stuff that you got to get in there. And again, one of my favorite shots, love this one of Sam Ellinger. Got the streamers right in between him, hook 'em horns, smiling. He's got his MVP trophy on our left, and then the Sugar Bowl trophy right down center. Again, just telling stories. High compliments from my boss with this photo. He said this selection was something that he could see published with ESPN, and I agree. To be frank, I love these shots. A personal goal of mine for this game, this was at the 2018 Cotton Bowl, was proximity. So how close can I get to these guys with them still acting into the camera? And I got really freaking close, as you can see here. So love those shots. And then, yeah, some stuff from the creative shoot. I got like Jay Witt over here, just fun, different work that I've gotten to do with Texas football. So that's some of my Texas football photography. I'm going to take y'all through just briefly. Again, thanks for sticking around if you're still here. And, you know, if you love anything, again, check out my website down below. Sign up with a one-on-one with me via Calendly. Getting back into photography here, I do portraits. So I'm just going to breeze through these, whether it's, you know, headshots or grad photos. Love taking portraits, super fun. And yeah, so here's some of my highlights here. I've got a lot that I need to add to, but still working on this. I'm recently published in student-run magazine, Spark Magazine. It was a great experience getting to work with a team of people. So this is the first shoot where it had a full kind of layout, start to finish. And this story that I covered was Building Can't Scare Me from our newest issue. So just some of my favorite selects here. And it really shows the kind of contrast of this feminine and masculine type. And this is one of the scenes that finishes the story. So this breaking through that a building can't scare me. And so some of my selects here, but yeah, just the colors and the framing and the direction of all of this was beautiful. Here's some of the teammates that I worked with. You know, great group of people there. Yeah, and then let's see, let's take y'all through a little bit more of my photography. Before things went south, I loved concert photography, still do. And so these are some of my favorite shots I've gotten to do alongside there. This first one is Jon Bellion. This was an incredible concert, pretty unreal. But again, just telling a story, right? So using this negative space and this light shining down on him, almost like it's from another being, right? And so really love this shot. Blues Traveler, really cool to shoot. Never thought I would ever be able to cover or see Blues Traveler. Yeah, so we've got some of my work here. I'm a sucker for silhouettes. This is the only good one I've ever done. They're hard, but love it. And then just kind of breezing through some of these detail shots. I love detail shots in concerts. This one right here from Common Kings at Stubbs, some of the best lighting I've ever shot. Love it. Here you can see just like his hand and what he's doing. And it's really, really fun. And yeah, so we've got some of this just kind of cruising along. This one was pretty incredible. So got to shoot Sublime with Rome a few months back. And Sublime, rest his soul, the original singer did pass in the 90s, but Rome was an incredible story. Look into it. He is now the new lead singer, and it was nuts. Not only seeing them in concert, but being in the pit, getting to shoot some of these moments of them singing songs that I grew up with. So yeah, I got some of that going on. But that's it for some of the highlights of my photography work. I'm going to take you through some of my designs now that I do. This is for Texas football. So a lot of people ask, you know, you shoot the games, you shoot practices, what else do you do? Well, this is it. I make recruiting graphics for high schoolers, and it's just as silly as it sounds, trust me. But with it, it allows me to kind of get better at my craft, right? I'm pumping out 2 or 3 of these a day. And just by doing that, you get better. It's all about practice, right? And so some of these highlights here, like this one is, you know, in the back of our mind, we have, how would this recruit look if he was on a movie poster? And this is just how the designs go. So we make these composites from fine pictures of them and turn them into stuff like this. So these are some of my favorites here. And as you notice going along the grid, I've got everything organized by color, right? But it's a wonderful job because I don't have to follow branding guidelines of Texas football, of Texas athletics, or of the university. I just create what I want to. My boss literally says, create the coolest thing you can, go. And that's what I do every single day of my job. And I love it more than anything, right? And so it's really fun, and it gets to test where I can push myself. So creating something like this and then like this for the same recruit, it really, really pushes me to think outside the box. And if you want to see more in depth, I have them broken out from the two respective years that I've worked a full recruiting cycle with on my Behance. So check those out. And then the last thing I'm going to walk y'all through. Thank you for hanging on this long. I know it's been a while, a lot of talking for me. I'm still working on this, but myself and half the other people on the planet would love to work for Nike, for Wieden+Kennedy, right? And so this is some of the work that I do just for fun. I have the Zoom Pegasus. The reason I picked it is because it was like had more in it, easy to shoot. And this is a bit of a cop out because there's no big thinking to it. It's a white shoe. I thought of snow. I thought of snowy mountains. I put this together. It's cool. It's fun. And it helps kind of like, again, work those creative muscles. But here's like a little GIF composite breakdown of what it is. And you can see a lot of what I focus on is lighting. You don't want to like over saturate the image with elements and get too cluttered. Just focus on how it's lighting. Like, how would that shoe look if it was actually in the air in front of a mountain? And then, this is the original photo, and the way I took it, just throwing it up and taking a bunch of shots and hoping for the best. And this one turned out. This is my favorite. And so I'm still trying to work this out on blowing it to a full kind of like outdoor series with what I've got. But yeah, so that's it. That's my work. You can read more about me here on my website. I currently do have a mustache. You can see that. Some of my skills, experience, education, my full resume. And then if you like anything you see, here's some of my contact information. So check out my email, phone. If you don't want to leave the site, I've got a little contact form for you. And yeah, I've got my Calendly again if you want to have a one-on-one meeting with me via Zoom. But thank you so much for tuning in. I know it was a lot of talking. If you have any questions or want to go through some of my work again, just reach out to me. Let me know. I'm available. So thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. So have a great day.